Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce our headline performer, Mr. Denny Asfar. A month ago, he opened at a large chateau at a home on the shores of Lake Superior in the great state of Michigan. 2 weeks ago, he performed at a beautiful home on the outskirts of Lake Tahoe in Northern California. A week ago, due to popular demand, he told humorous stories at a condo adjacent to Lake Elsinore in Southern California. Last night, he recited a soliloquy at a fixer-upper in Lakeview Terrace in the San Fernando Valley. He is on a roll, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it or not, he once turned water into Kool-Aid. At an early age, he showed the ability to play the banjo and eat corn on the cob at the same time. He once traversed the Himalaya mountains wearing only a tutu. He currently holds the record for blowing bubbles while on a ventilator. Although he is an only son, his mother always said he was her favorite son. He is the best in the West. He is the latest and the greatest. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Denny Asfar, ladies
I'm so big I can wear a 4-foot. Okay. Thank you all for being here. Special thanks to Al and to Big Ron for help putting this together. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and we give you the check.
I get the check. Thank you very much. Well, you know, Ron talked about his marriage and what a great, he does have a lovely wife. I don't know how many of you have had the privilege of actually meeting her, but I hate it when you're in the middle of a joke and somebody says, pass the cow chicken. It's okay. Tony, this way. Okay, there we go. But I do want to thank all of you for being here. And Ron's wife is very, very, very nice. And he spoils her like crazy. As you can tell, he's a great guy. But he got a little bit fed up with it one time. He says, I've had it. I give her everything. I'm so nice to her. I treat her like a queen. It's my turn. He goes to her one day, he says, darling, I got a birthday coming up, and I want something expensive in the driveway. I want something that's going to go from 0 to 220 in 5 seconds. So she bought him a scale. She's a lovely, lovely lady. And of course, Ron and his wife have 2 beautiful children. One is a doctor, one is an accountant working for a very prominent accountant firm. And he and his wife, they actually had to stop after having 2 because they read an article in Reader's Digest that every 3rd child born is Chinese. Sorry, Albert. Sorry, Harry. Little 5-second delay over here. Thank you, Harriet. But it is true, though. She's a very, very nice woman. Myself, I've been married 47 years. Great, great woman, honest to God. Everybody asks me, Denny, what's kept your marriage together for 47 long years? I said, it's those 3 beautiful magic words. California community property. So, you know, and I'm telling you, I know the wives here look very nicely dressed, especially you, Heidi. You look wonderful today. And I'm telling you, no one, Patty, no one spends money like my wife. My wife can smell a sale a mile away, honest to God. You know something, Ruth? Three months ago, my wife had all her credit cards stolen. The guy that stole her credit cards calls me. He says, hey buddy, I've got your wife's credit cards. I said, keep them. He says, why? I said, you spend less money than she does. And can I have the noodles? It's crazy. Anyway, I took her to the doctor last week for plastic surgery. She sat there and cried when he was cutting up her credit cards. It was terrible. But she did bless me with 3 beautiful daughters. This is the truth. I was fortunate enough, I don't know about you folks, but I had the privilege and the honor to see all 3 of my girls being born. And to be honest with you, the only thing that I didn't like was just all the yelling and screaming that went on, and the doctor told me if I wasn't quiet, I'd have to leave. It just didn't seem fair to me, you know. But anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is that when you have a good relationship with someone, and it's long-lasting, you know, you're blessed, and You know, can you get that up there okay? Is that all right? We're working really hard at that. But relationships, like Ron said, are very, very, very important. And it reminds me of the three elderly gentlemen that are in a retirement center. And old Fred says, he says, you know something, boys? He says, I get up around 6 o'clock in the morning and I try to go pee-pee and I stand there for the longest time and nothing ever happens. And old Hank says, you know, I got a similar problem. He says, I get up around 6:30 and I try to go poo-poo and I sit there for the longest time and nothing ever happens. And old Henry says, you know, boys, I don't have that problem. I go pee-pee right at 6 o'clock and I go poo-poo right at 6:30. The only problem is I don't get out of bed till 8. Just one of those sad things. Yeah. But how many of you people here have animals?
Yes.
And, oh, very good, Pat. Bob, I'd like to tell you a story about the two Jewish guys, if that's okay with you. Two Jewish brothers. They're really, really, really close. And Herman wants to go on vacation, but he's got this pet pussycat. And he calls up his brother Max. He says, hey, Max. He says, I want to go away on vacation. He says, I need somebody to watch my pussycat. And Max says, Herman, don't worry. You go on vacation, I take care of your pussycat. He says, you know how valuable this is to me. It's everything. My pussycat is like family. Herman, go on vacation, don't worry. Don't worry. He goes on vacation, he comes back a week and a half later. He knocks on the door. Marv answers the door. And Marv says, how was your vacation? Did you have a good vacation? And Herman says, where's my pussycat? Where's my pussycat? Max says, I'm so sorry. He says, but your cat is dead. He says, dead? Oh my God. So he says it with a heart attack. He's got a heart attack. They take him to the hospital. He's laying in bed and he's looking up at Max. He says, Max, how can you be so cold? How can you be so callous? You say pussycat is dead. Why don't you build it up a little bit and say something like, the pussycat was on the roof. The pussycat went from the roof to the street and got hit by a car. But no, you say pussycat is dead. He says, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Herman says, okay, don't worry, Max, don't worry. Herman says, by the way, Max, how's the mama? And Max says, well, Mama was on the roof. Do we have any sports fans here? Raise your hand. Okay, good. Yeah, you guys all play together, I'm sure. Okay. Family that plays racquetball together stays together. So, are most of you familiar with Al Davis?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Al Davis was the owner of the Raiders, in case you don't know. Al Davis is watching the Bosnia news one night during the Bosnia War. And he sees this young Bosnia kid throw a hand grenade 20 stories up in a window that's 2 by 2. He says, man, I got to go over there. I got to sign this kid up. He goes over there during the war, signs the kid up on a 5-year, $50 million contract. He brings them back. They win all their games that year. They go to the Super Bowl, and they win the Super Bowl. And after the Super Bowl game, the young Bosnian kid calls his mother. He says, Mama, we won the Super Bowl. She says, Boris, your brother's been stabbed. Your other brother's been shot. Your sister's been kidnapped. Why, Boris? Why? Why did you make us move to Oakland? I was ready to do it. What are you going to do? But you know something? Sports are really great. I may not look like it to you guys, but I used to be a prize fighter. And yes, I was. And matter of fact, I was on the canvas so much, I decided to take up painting. It was terrible. It was really terrible. But actually, I'm not really proud of it, but I've lost 22 pounds because I was in rehab for about 6 months. I'm not really proud of it. I was hooked on phonics. But actually, Albert, I was only there for a spell. It wasn't for a spell. But it reminds me of the story about the two guys that were sitting in the bar. And one guy says to the other one, he says, hey, where are you from? He says, I'm from Oregon. He says, well, I'm from Oregon. He says, get out of here. Whereabouts? Portland. He says, well, I'm from Portland. He says, you got to be kidding me. what university did you go to? He says, I went to the University of Oregon. He says, well, I went to the University of Oregon. Just then the phone rings and the bartender answers it and says, oh, hi, honey. No, not busy at all. Just the Robinson twins, and they're drunk again. What are you going to do? Really crazy. But you know something? I got a buddy of mine that works the Foothill Division. And you know, sometimes police officers, you know, they get all kinds of people. And one of my good friends, his name was Juan Rodriguez, just like you, Juan. He goes in there, the police officer says, can I help you? He says, yes. He says, my name is Juan Rodriguez, and I want to report that my car was stolen. He says, well, Mr. Rodriguez, I'm really sorry to hear that. He says, what kind of car did you have? He says, I had a 55 Chevy car. It was all decked out. It had the spinners. It had the little dice in the window. He says, oh, I'm really sorry, Mr. Rodriguez. He says, about how long ago did this happen? And he says, oh, this happened about 2 days ago. And the officer says, well, Mr. Rodriguez, I hate to tell you this, but your car is probably over the border by now. He says, ah, those darn Canadians. But anyway, anybody here ever drive a bus? I got a buddy of mine. You did? I got a buddy of mine that drove that drove a bus, and we got the compound chicken coming out in the rice.
Fried rice.
Fried rice. That's good. That's good. He drives a bus for the city of Los Angeles, and this guy gets on board and he goes to pay, and he says to my friend, the bus driver, he says, how much do I owe? And he says, it's 50 cents. And the guy says, you mean to tell me you're going to charge me 50 cents? He says, yes. He says, about how far is it to Los Angeles? He says, it's probably about, with no traffic at all, it's probably about 15 to 20 minutes. And the guy says to my buddy, he says, are you making fun of me? He says, no, I'm not making fun of you at all. So he goes and he sits down, the next guy comes on bus, he says, hey, how far before I get to Washington Boulevard? He says, well, without any traffic or anything, you can probably go about maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Then the guy gets up and says, you were making fun of me, weren't you? He says, no, I wasn't making fun of you. I was making fun of him. Little reverse deal. So my buddy, the same guy, goes in to see this sales manager, and he answers an ad for a Bible sale. So he goes in, he's in for the interview. The Bible salesman says, how can I help you? He says, I'm here for the Bible job. He says, you're what? He says, I'm here for the Bible job. I'm a good Bible salesman. He says, well, sir, I don't think it's going to work out. You got a slight speech impediment. He says, please, I've got a wife and kids. I know I can sell Bible. He says, look, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to put you on commission. And in that room over there is a whole room full of Bibles. Whatever you sell, I pay you for. You don't sell anything, I pay you nothing. He says, thank you. He goes out there, he sells all the Bibles. He comes back at the end of the day. The Bible sales manager says, come into my office, come into my office. He says, well, what's the matter? He says, I've had these guys around here selling for years, and no one's ever been able to sell as many Bibles as you did. Take me step by step how you did it, so that I can take and show this to my other sales guys. He says it was so simple. I would knock on the door, and I would say, hi, would you like to buy a Bible, or do you want me to read it? Got to sell a lot of Bibles. Now, a lot of you know that we have a lot of really good doctors out there. I mean, my doctor, he looked at me one day and he says, hey, Denny, he says, I got some bad news for you. He says, I can only give you 6 months to live. I said, Doc, I don't think I'm going to be able to pay you. He says, then I'll give you another 6 months. I want my money, you know. Anyway, my same buddy goes to see this doctor, and he says, the doc, he says, they finally diagnosed why I stutter. And the doctor says, why? He says, it's because my private part is too long, and if you take a little bit off, my stuttering will go away. The doc says, are you sure about this? He says, they guaranteed it. So he goes in, he has it done. He comes back 2 weeks later, he says, hey doc, look at me. I don't stutter anymore. My whole family's happy, everybody's happy except for my wife. My wife thinks that maybe you took just a little bit too much off. Do you think maybe you could take and put a little bit more back on? And the doctor looked at him and said, I don't think that's going to be right. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
I know where that went.
You know exactly what I was going with that, right, Patty? Yeah. But anyway, what I wanted to say is that, have any of you been to any of the Indian reservations out here for the casinos that they have? Oh, man, it's Vegas style. Oh, no. It is absolutely amazing. I walked into one of the casinos, and as I walked in, there was this Indian chief all decked out in this beautiful outfit with feathers and everything. But I noticed one thing really strange about him. Every time a beautiful girl would walk by, he'd hold up his hand and he'd go, chance. And I looked at him. Another beautiful girl goes by, he goes, chance. Well, I can't take it no more. I walked up to him, I said, hey, you're an Indian chief. You're not supposed to say chance. You're supposed to say how. He says, me know how. Me want chance. I got one of my buddies that works, he's a psychiatrist for the Indian reservations. So one of the Indian chiefs comes in one day and he says, hey chief, what can I do for you? And the Indian chief says, sometimes I feel like a wigwam. Sometimes I feel like a teepee. Wigwam, teepee, wigwam, teepee, wigwam, teepee. The psychiatrist says, chief, I know what your problem is. You're too tense. There's a little 5-second delay there. Thank you very much.
Oh, look, that's sweat
The rate now is $9 an hour. But I got another buddy of mine that works the foothill division. He happened to pull this couple over, and he goes up to the window, and the gentleman's sitting in his car. He says, sir, he says, I really hated to pull you over. He says, but your back tail light is out. And he looks up and he says, officer, I didn't know that. And his wife says, Charlie, I've been telling you for 3 months about that back tail light. You never got it fixed. He says, shut up, Alice, please. Police officer says, you know, sir, as I was approaching your car from the front, I realized that your front headlight is out as well. He says, officer, I didn't know that. She says, Charlie, I've been telling you for 6 months about that front headlight. You never got it fixed. He says, shut up, Alice, please. The officer says, you know, sir, as I'm looking at you right now, I realize you're not even wearing a seatbelt. He says, well, officer, I thought I was going to get out of the car and meet you halfway. She says, Charlie, been married to you 35 years, you've never worn a seatbelt. He says, shut up, Alice. The police officer says, excuse me, ma'am, but does your husband always talk to you like that? She says, no, only when he's been drinking. Big Ron, ladies and gentlemen. Big Ron. There's no sign. There's no sign. Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Give Denny Asfar a big hand. Yeah. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, indeed. All the way from a little chateau and Lakeview Terrace. All right. Thank you guys very much for coming today. Thank you very much for being supportive and helping out. We got plenty of material here to work with. And Kung Pao chicken too. All right. Thank you all very much.
The scientists have finally found the food that diminishes a wife's sex life by 90%.
How much was your meal?
Did you enjoy yourself today?
Very enjoyable. Thank you.
All righty. Fantastic.
Lunch and laughs.
Yeah, man, speak. I couldn't stop laughing, man. So good. They're really good. You almost choked. Farrell, come on. Farrell, yeah.
I'd just like to thank
$3 million.
I'd just like to thank Albert. We always, every function that we have, we always get together. And it's really appreciated. And the comedian is great. Ron, thank you for putting this all together. We've really enjoyed it. Thank you, Denny.
Denny, you rock. Thank you.